The Lake Taylor Titans brought home the state group AAA Division V football championship. We will talk to the winning coach, Hank Sawyer, and our sports segment with Steve Settmiller. Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source of news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. Parents from Tidewater Park Elementary and Chesterfield Academy spent a sunny Friday learning about math and science at Camp Young. The enthusiastic parents in attendance enjoyed hands-on workshops that mirrored what children learn and experience when they visit the camp.
We decided to have parents come to camp to build their capacity so that they are able to better help their kids in the academic areas of their life. We decided to have them come out for a day of fun where they could collaborate and interact with each other, and as well as get some math instruction, some science instruction, and just enjoy the outdoors.
I think it's wonderful. I would like to see it offered to all Norfolk Public Schools, elementary schools, because I think it's only certain schools, but I think all schools could learn from this because they all have SOLs. They all have science and math, so I think all schools could benefit from this.
I think it's good for the kids to come out and learn, get outside, get out the classroom, learn something outside the classroom, hands-on. I think it's good. And try to see what my kids are learning, have some more fun with them with it when they get out of school, when they get home. Just continue learning outside of school.
Bright, wide-eyed, and excited students met face-to-face with WWE's superstars as part of their Be a Star, also known as Show Tolerance and Respect anti-bullying program. Over 200 Sewells Point students listened to WWE wrestlers Big Show, Hornswoggle, Brodus Clay, Ted Biasi, Naomi, and Cameron share their positive and personal messages around bullying. Big Show lamented about his role as a bully in school and challenged students to not follow in his footsteps. Superintendent of Schools Dr. Samuel King was presented the official game ball by the ODU President John Broderick to kick off the second annual Day of Partnership at the Ted Constant Center. Excited students enjoyed watching the Lady Monarchs basketball game against the North Carolina Central University. In celebration of International Education Week, the students at the Academy of International Studies at Rosemont took part in their own World Carnival Day. This event featured a student presentation about her home country in Morocco, and they had a chance to interact with foreign students from Old Dominion University and a special tasting from various foods from around the world.
It's been great. We have an awesome staff here. Everyone is working together as a team. We have tons of parents and volunteers in the building. They've been preparing all week for this celebration. Various types of businesses have helped us to make sure that this is an awesome experience for our students.
We all lined up and went to go taste different fruits from different countries all around the world. And it's really cool, and it goes, even though it's just food, it goes along with what we're learning, and it gives me a better understanding of what we learn.
I think it's really good because it gives the kids the chance to experience different cultures besides just what they have around their own neighborhood, so I think that's really good.
Attention parents and guardians, bring your current 8th grader to the 9th Annual High School Information Night on Thursday, December 13th at 6 p.m. at Lake Taylor High School. This is your opportunity to find out about detailed information on academic offerings and specialized programs available that will be offered at each of our high schools. For the second year in a row, Shelby Strickland of Ruffner Academy won second place in the United States Department of the Interior's National Park, National Fossil Day Art and Photo Contest with the theme Careers in Paleontology. Congratulations, Shelby. Triumph and celebration for Lake Taylor High School. Up next, more sports action around the district, featuring Steve Settmiller and NPS Sports.
Plays of effort. You got a warning. You're not playing for yourself any longer. You stopped doing that when the district was over. You're playing for your families, your school, your community, your state. We want to be state champions. We want to take this trophy back to Norfolk. Well, here you are 18 weeks later, on the verge of being a champion. But you got to go and get it. If I could feel good about something and be ready to go for 4 quarters as hard as I could, because at the end, I know I'm going to be champion, who's for that? Think about it. Teammates, in the huddle, organized chaos, twin veer, misdirection. It's time. It's time to eat. If you're ready to eat and you're ready to pay the cost, put your helmet on and go out.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. And today, boy, do we have a special guest. Hank Sawyer, head football coach, Lake Taylor High School state champions. Coach, that speech right there, if you weren't ready to play, then you weren't ready to play that day. And every kid on your team, every athletic trainer, every physician on the sidelines, they were ready.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. It's an amazing time right now for Lake Taylor football.
Okay. Coach, we're going to go to some highlights right now. And I want you to just talk a little bit about some of the action that we experienced Saturday, and just to let the fans know that weren't there of all the special things that went on. Okay.
Okay, right here now, we're getting fired up. We're running out now. It's time to eat. We're ready. You can see them, they're pretty fired up. That's a shot of the captains going for the coin toss.
It was a heck of a day, a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better day. Play football. There we go playing defense. Here we come. Organized chaos. We just ate right there. There's a picture of Brandon Lynch just getting the sack.
Coach, you had great fan support throughout the day.
Look at the fans were unbelievable. I cannot believe that many people came from the Norfolk, Tidewater area. There you go. You had Nyree Quinlan just catching a pass. Coach Quinlan's son. There's a sideline. They're probably saying hit squad, getting fired up. There's a picture of the offense with Delman. He's throwing his touchdown pass like it was a stop and go to Jaquel Pickney, and he takes it to the house. Touchdown. Titans up 7-0.
Coach, y'all are a running team, but I tell you, that passing game this week was unbelievable.
Well, we went into the game saying we were going to take what they gave us, and they gave us the pass and took the run away from us a little bit, so we took advantage of it. Okay, there they go, doing a quick kick, and we block it. We get a piece of it. There's a Marquise Poole with the ball right now. He's running. There's Spellman trying to block for him. We're in scoring position in the red zone right now. There's Delman once again, throws a quick spot to Nyree Quinlan, and he takes it to the house. He's going to hit the pylon, touchdown, Nyree. Of course, I don't know where his belt is. It looks like his own, but it came down. They tried to tackle him. 14-0. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves.
And going in at halftime, you're up 14-0. You knew this team had something to come out.
Well, we knew they were capable of coming back because they had against a team, Yorktown, who they beat 69-50. So we came back out with this halfback pass to Jaquel, and he catches it, and we feel like had he not fallen down, because that guy fell down, that would have been another touchdown. But we're feeling pretty good about ourselves because we're keeping the pressure on Stonebridge.
And this sets up another score to go up 20-0.
Delman right there, he didn't get the ball, but luckily the lineman fell on it, and we keep the ball. You know, every once in a while, kids get excited and they start getting relaxed. And you're going to do some bad things in there, but you have to accept it. There's Marquise Poole right here bringing the pressure, along with Jalen Holmes. Right now, I'm a little worried on that sideline because I want this thing more than I want to breathe right now. And there's Delman under center. He goes back, quick pitch to Daquan Davis. He makes the guy miss, very athletic. And he just runs to the pylon, hits the pylon, touchdown. Right there, the kid from Stonebridge knows that he's just scored. That's why he hit the ground. There's Jalen right there with him, 20-0. We missed the extra point, so there was some concerns about that because the extra points are really big.
Yeah, and before their game, their kicker was hitting them from 50
Yeah, very good kicking game. Punter and kicker, he was hitting it like 50. Here we go right here, trying to get through here to make a tackle here. We stop him again. There's 3 guys on Jalen. homes right there. But they scored a touchdown here, so you're a little worried, but we're okay. I think the offense is going to come back and put a little more pressure on them. There their fans go. There go our fans saying fourth quarter. That's what that means. The four fingers up means fourth quarter. And it's time to really get after it.
And the fourth quarter was exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. There they go. We stop them right there. There's Jalen and Marquise. There's Deshaun Askin. We knew they spread it out and went empty, and we knew they were going to throw the pass. We just didn't make the play. We were a little frustrated right here because we knew the play was coming. That number 5 for them is very fast. And here they go. They're trying to get in on this second effort. He gets in and scores. It's 20-14 now. It's time for our offense to come back on the field. We didn't, and there they go. They run a little reverse, number 10, and we got to try to get there. Just run and just
Coach,
keep
big play right here.
Big play right here. But before this play, Pork Chop, number 21, and Spellman told me nothing to worry about that. And there's a picture of me. I'm sprinting to the mountains. I'm in Charlottesville. I'm sprinting to the mountaintop to get my reward. And I'm feeling pretty good. And there go my players coming in. We're all embracing each other. Probably could have got a penalty, but who cared at that point? We're feeling pretty good. There's the fans celebrating that the game is over and the Titans are state champions.
Coach, unbelievable, awesome.
Yes, well,
but the last 20 seconds was a nail biter. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
But moving forward, talk a little bit about what this means to your players, to your coaches, to the community, and to you.
Well, first of all, what it means to me is it just motivates me to run on a little bit further to see what the end going to be. The championship trophy was for the city of Norfolk. It was for every kid that ever played football in the city of Norfolk, as well as the guys that I've coached, even at Granby. And I know it means a lot to the city. The city probably was tired of hearing talk from the surrounding cities that Norfolk couldn't win a football championship. Well, we proved it. It took us 46 years, but we're on the mountaintop now.
And yes, we are. Coach, you had a lot of players involved in this. A lot of different seniors, juniors, sophomores, and even some freshmen that were players. Talk a little bit about your seniors and just how important they are to you and how they are as players.
Well, you know, Harry Freeman, he committed to Norfolk State. He got hurt. He helped it this year. Can't say enough about Jamel Spellman. He's a player coach out there. I don't make a lot of calls. He makes the call. We get together and practice. He's just a phenomenal IQ of football. Brandon Pork Chop Moore, pound for pound, the toughest kid I've ever coached. Daquan Davis he just complimented Pork Chop. He had his own 1,500 yards. Jaquel plays both ways. He picked up the slack in the state playoffs and scored some touchdowns. Donovan Powell can play every position. Yes, there is the football for him. So Donovan just does so much. And Cliff Arrington is our 300-pound center who's just made all the line calls this year. And Ronaldo Fleming was a left tackle that protected our backside, and he just helped the team. We just had him for 1 year, and he helped the team so much. Mike Dixon was a special teams guy who put so much pressure on teams. So we're feeling really good about our seniors.
Okay. Now, that group has another special significance as well. That's the first group that started middle school football for us in Norfolk, and they were champions then and ended as champions. That's quite a run.
For Brandon Pork Chop Moore was the running back on that team. Ronaldo Fleming and Cliff Arrington, they played on the line on that team. So middle school football has embraced football. They helped the city of Norfolk. And right where we were lacking with the linemen and some things, it's just paid dividends. Steve, I don't know if Mr. Wagner, you, the mayor, whoever helped start it. I know the idea has been on the floor. Bert Earl tried to get it. But finally we got it, and it's played big dividends.
Okay. Coach, one more question. All good leaders, all good coaches have great support. Talk a little bit about your assistant coaches.
Well, it starts with David Floyd. He's been with me the longest. He's assistant head coach. He runs the daily operations of football. He works harder than I do, to be very honest with you. Then Mike James is our offensive coordinator. He played for me my first 2 years. He helped me win my first district championship. He's a great offensive mind. Mike Whittington is our offensive line coach. His pressure always on him. Then we were able to adopt John Quinley, who has head coach experience. He's the running back coach. And that's just another football mind IQ that's been great. Can't say enough about Billy Moore. who led the 82 team. He's a consultant, and he's the guy that all the hard questions, all the hard things that maybe assistant coaches don't want to hear. Mm-hmm. He brings them to light and make you know that you have to work on those things.
Yes, he does.
James Bond is our JV coach, and he's done a phenomenal job. I don't think they've lost many games since he's been under him. He's been with me 13 years. He took over the JV out of Florida, came up. Yale Leeson, Theo Ford, he takes care of the transportation. Those guys just make my job easy. We brought back one of our old guys, Anthony Church, this year, and he helped us a lot with both lines, and he took a lot of pressure off of me, helped me with the defensive line. And then we had Sean, Coach Sean, he helped do the film and all those things are so important. I hope I haven't left off any assistant coaches because, Coach Joe Bryant played for me at Granby, and he does such a phenomenal job. He's the blue-collar guy. Okay. He doesn't mind getting dirty for the program.
All right.
Joe Bryant.
Coach, moving forward and looking down the road, and I know you want to keep going. Tell us a little bit about how you plan out a season and then what the future will look like.
Well, the good Lord put eyes in front of your head rather than back, so you can see where you're going and not where you've been. Mm-hmm. So we'll be back in the weight room the first day out, around January 2nd, we'll be back in the weight room lifting weights and getting ready for spring ball. We had 2 weeks last year, and I think it was the key to our success, having the spring ball.
Okay. All right, Coach, again, congratulations and good luck next year. And we're very proud of you in the city of Norfolk, the Norfolk Public Schools, everybody involved in football.
Well, thank you, and I'm very proud of the fans, the city, my school, the students at my school, the administration, and more importantly, the teachers. The teachers have done a phenomenal job helping our kids to grow and keep them eligible.
Okay, great. All right, let's take a look at recent action in basketball and swimming.
Old rivals met up on the hardwood to play two. First game, the Lady Commodores showed why they are one of the favorites in the Eastern District. Constant pressure caused many turnovers. Nice bounce pass by Taylor Day to Brianna Hale for the basket. Here, Gianna Smith spots up and nails one of her 10 three-pointers. The Lady Comets had some moments as well, as they worked hard despite being down throughout the game. Maury wins their first game in convincing fashion. In the nightcap, Maury used inside play to build an early lead. The Comets, who played the night before, showed some grit to hang around. But the Commodores were too strong. Mike Bass Knight scored 20 points, and Jaleel Ferguson had a double-double as Maury got the victory. Willie White and Micah McCaney each scored 10 points for Granby. Here are some more scores from around the district.
For scores and game schedules, make sure you visit your school's Big Team website.
Joining us today, we have Dr. Elsie Lance, Senior Director of Pupil Personnel. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
Today I would like for us to discuss positive behavior intervention support, also known as PBIS. What is PBIS, Dr. Lance?
PBIS is a systemic approach, a model that is used to support school climate and discipline with a strict focus on utilizing data in schools.
Okay, so why did Norfolk Public Schools decide to adopt this type of discipline model?
We're always looking to make sure that we can provide supports for schools, for students, to make sure that they have the best environment that is conducive for learning. So we look to try to find what type of program or service could provide further assistance for our students, and did a lot of research and determined that a very effective model used by the state and across the nation would be PBIS. And so that's how we ended up there after working with groups, researching different models.
So what type of training is involved with PBIS?
There are different levels of training. There's training that involves a coach at the school, as well as there are teams at the school. There's district level training. There's training dealing with data. Training to provide specific services or support for schools and their teams to meet their specific needs related to discipline and school climate.
So the folks that will be trained would be the teachers, the principals?
Yes, it's a school-wide approach, and as I mentioned, we're using this as a district model, so there will be coaches, and it could be a variety of different positions, people serving as coaches who will lead the teams in their buildings, who could consist of whether it's teachers, administrators, security staff, custodians, school nutrition employees, anybody in the building that works with students, interacts with students. So there could be a variety of different staff members involved, and ideally every staff member in the building would be part of the model in their school.
Okay, I just want to pause for a moment and take a look at a recent training with principals on PBIS.
Well, positive behavior intervention supports has been around a while. It's in federal legislation, and it's a means of creating climates in schools that are conducive to teaching and learning. It's in great part about helping teachers, helping adults change their behaviors to make it more likely that kids will do what they're supposed to be doing. But ultimately, it's about creating this positive teaching and learning environment.
Well, some of the outcomes that are associated with PBIS are reductions in discipline referrals, increases in behaviors that allow students to engage in instruction, changes in school climate, increases in teacher efficacy, so things that schools are looking to address that are showing up in their data with PBIS.
From the video we just watched, it seems like there's a lot of great information being shared about PBIS with the administrators and a lot of training opportunities and partnering, collaborating with folks. Who are some of the people that we're collaborating with?
We have university partners from the College of William and Mary and from Old Dominion University. Also, we have partners from the Mid-Atlantic Equity Center. And along with those partners, we've recently hired a full-time coordinator who will assist with the PBIS initiative in Norfolk Public Schools and will help support all of the schools.
Great. Well, coming up next, we're going to meet with Renee Smith, the PBIS coordinator, and Dr. Denise Charbonnet, who is the Executive Director of Secondary Schools. Please stay tuned. With us now is Renee Smith and Dr. Denise Charbonnet. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Renee, what is school-wide PBIS?
PBIS is a positive approach to discipline in the schools where we actually teach specific skills and appropriate behaviors that we want to see in the school environment.
Okay, and so why is it important to be teaching these positive behaviors in the schools to our students?
That way there's no questions. The children know what's expected, the parents will know what's expected, and those appropriate behaviors are going to be reinforced in real time so that the we're focusing on the positives instead of waiting for the negatives to occur. So the children are taught very specifically what appropriate school behaviors are going to be.
Give me an example of what that looks like.
For example, let's say one of the elementary schools chooses one of their expectations to be respectful. Then the teachers would actually teach a lesson on raising their hand before they answer in school. And that practice is going to be reinforced in real time, but it's a section of time that's actually pulled out and taught very specifically when the children are to raise their hand. So there's no question. The child's going to know exactly what is expected of them.
Being respectful is something that may have different meaning for different people, teachers, students. We can't assume that the children come to school understanding what we mean by these terms and knowing how to behave in school in every setting. So PBIS makes it crystal clear. Students don't have to wonder what's expected in the cafeteria, how they're expected to behave when they walk down the hallways, because it's taught and there are posters in every part of the building that tell them exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
So we've already kicked this off, so to speak. Okay, so for you, Dr. Charbonnet, how will this new discipline model be implemented on the secondary and even elementary level for our students?
Well, we're working with a great team here. Ms. Smith has already begun her work, and we have a specific detailed outline of how we're going to put our teams together, how schools are going to begin planning, and the use of data is critical. We're going to look at the data building by building to see where the problems are. Are they in the classroom? Are they in the cafeteria? For example, one school I've already worked with, we've dealt with discipline in the after-school piece. So we looked at their dismissal and how students were leaving the buildings, and the principals and teachers got together and tightened up the processes and procedures for this time of the day, and it has been working extremely well. They now have a specific process. The rules are posted in the hallways, and children know what to do at dismissal time.
Now, how are we going to communicate this to the parents?
Parents are a part of everything we do. I know Lafayette, Winona, I've had a conversation with that principal, and they have already brought parents into the process. The parents are looking at PBIS, and they're taking an active role in looking at the data and what we're going to focus on there, in their plan initially. So parents are a part of all of this, and we expect each school to communicate to parents how we're going to implement PBIS in the school. I know one school that has already begun to implement PBIS well is Ruffner Middle School. They have a token economy that's working very well, and community stakeholders and parents are contributing to that. They also have an added element. They're using PBIS to provide incentives for teachers. So it's not just for students, it's for everyone in the school environment.
So it's incentive-based for the students and for the teachers. And the ultimate reward is to, or end result, is to cut back on low attendance, bad behavior, suspensions. Let's talk a little bit about that. How does that look? Implementing this program, how will it cut back on attendance issues and suspension issues?
Well, we realize that anything that the schools make a primary focus becomes something that diminishes in the school environment. So if we make attendance a goal, and we look at a goal, let's say 95% attendance, we post this, and then we come up with specific incentives for students and faculty to improve attendance, that becomes a reality in the building.
And then we can offer a reward to the student and the teacher for being present.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. What are some other examples you think, Renee, of how this could work?
For positive behavioral supports, the biggest thing that I see is it improves school climate across the board because it takes away anything that is unsure from the children, and the parents are going to know what's expected in school. They're going to be able to reinforce that, and it's going to improve the climate of the school. You know, when we have kids who are suspended and they're out of school, they're missing school time. The chances of them liking where they are in school, getting positive feedback when they are in school, feeling comfortable, feeling safe, they're going to be more likely to come to school. And so then we can look at the attendance rates and see how that goes. The same thing with misbehavior or inappropriate behavior for the school setting. Once they're taught what those behaviors are and you reinforce them in real time, that is going to decrease those inappropriate behaviors, but it's also going to increase safety in the school. And kids are going to be more likely to want to be in the school building. And in turn, they're in school, they're going to be learning, and then we're going to see some academic rewards to that as well.
So for parents that are watching it and even folks in the community, this is not a one-time implementation of a program.
No.
PBIS is here to stay?
Yes. And I'd also like to comment as well about the classroom. PBIS is also a process that works for classroom teachers as well. If one of the areas we look at in a school happens to be office discipline referrals that teachers make, then we can go in and help teachers with behavior management plans so they can have a better climate in the classroom where the rubber meets the road. We expect children to exhibit certain behaviors in the classroom. They need to be engaged in the lesson, engaged in the learning activities, and if they're not, then we can assist teachers to come up with appropriate consequences. We can help teachers to come up with routines and the kind of processes in the classroom so children can be more successful and they can be more successful and productive.
And if the children aren't in school, that means they're not learning, and if they're being
Exactly.
suspended, they're not learning. So this gives them another option to learn new behaviors and stay in school and learn, and then help the teachers along with, you know, having great positive behavior. Any more information you want to share about PBIS?
Well, it's a tiered approach, and I know you can comment on that.
Oh, yeah.
Just as we do with the academic piece, we look at Tier 1, that's for everyone. So we come up with some school-wide initiatives and incentives for everyone. But just as with any group, we have students who may have some difficulty, and we need some extra support for them. And that's where PBIS helps schools to focus on what will these extra supports be? Who are the students who need these supports, and how will we implement that?
Talk about that tier, the tier.
Basically what you're looking at is the majority of the kids with systemic approaches, and when we say that, the words that Dr. Charbonnet was using, processes, procedures, explaining very clearly what we want the children to do and what we want the teachers to do. With those supports in place, about 80% of the kids are going to respond appropriately and do what they need to do so that they can learn. The other tiers is what Dr. Charbonnet was saying. You're going to have some kids who are going to come out and are going to need something a little bit more individualized. They might be looking at risk a little bit. So we're going to develop some classroom-wide strategies for those kids, something that's a little bit more specific. And then you might have some kids who have some more serious issues, and that's about 5% usually is the way it breaks down. And they're going to need some very individualized support. And the way that we get the support is through what we call resource mapping, which basically means we look inside the school, we look at our philosophies, the way that we're doing things, community resources, so that we can hook everybody up and we can hook the parents into those supports as well. And so that's kind of how we divide the children, so to speak. And the idea, of course, is to go from 80% in that first tier that can do what they need to do with just that level of support. And of course, we want to increase that and decrease the other two, but that's where the data comes in. This is an evidence-based practice, which means it's not just a bunch of people saying it works. We have actual numbers to support that what we're doing is going to work with the kids.
Go ahead.
This is good for parents because when parents come to the school, we can speak specifically about what we have in place, what we're doing with their child, and what we need them to do to work with us and assist us to make sure that their child stays in school and is successful.
And that's very important. And I want to go back to some of the incentives, you know, where everyone loves something. So what are some of the incentives that, or is it based on each school, they do something different, but for a student, for a teacher, what would be an incentive?
Well, I'd like to talk about, you know, some of the schools. For instance, I mentioned Ruffner has a token economy. Why is this important? Well, with a token economy, the children earn bucks. And so many times a week, they're allowed to spend those bucks or receive rewards that we know all students would like and all teachers would like. I know some of the incentives for teachers were cards to go to bookstores and to be able to get things at the bookstores that they may want to read or use for their classes. I know for students, that school is looking at having electronic items, things that children would want to earn, that they would enjoy having, and they in fact have those things in their bookstore. And so students want to earn the bucks so they can spend. We try not to do a lot of edibles, but there are intangibles, free time, extra time in the day to socialize. Being first in the lunch line, believe it or not, that's a big incentive. Students like to be first in the lunch line. So there are a lot of incentives, some that take resources and some that don't take anything, but some innovation and thought in providing that positive climate so students can learn. And one of the things we like to see as a byproduct is building relationships. So this helps to build relationships with staff and students, and also students to students in a positive environment.
And it sounds like to me PBIS is a winning combination for everyone. The students and the teachers win. I want to thank you ladies for coming on to NPS Now today, and I want to thank you for tuning in to NPS Now. The show airs each week. You can also watch it online at www.npsk12.com. Again, thank you for watching NPS Now.